Hey, welcome. Today we're going to build, pay for, and launch a whole new website from scratch in the new Squarespace 7.1. So today we're going to make a website for my cousin Jack Underwood. He is out in LA. He is an aspiring actor and currently a model. So we're going to put together a website for him with all of the pictures that he has to get him a little bit more exposure. So if you are looking to build a photography intensive website, this tutorial is going to be really good for you. If not, if you're looking to build more of like a blog or just a personal website, something else, this is still going to be a good tutorial because we're going to start from the beginning. It's very intro, and I'm going to go over everything you need to know to build a website in the new Squarespace 7.1. If you want to watch the whole thing through really quick, hit that little gear icon in the bottom right and hit playback speed and go 2x or 1.5x. Watch this whole thing through really fast and then come back and do it with me, and you will have a full website up and going really quickly. Oh, and one final note, I recorded the tutorial on a different day that I'm recording this intro, and because I have good hygiene, I changed clothes, and so I'm going to be in different clothes and a different setting when you watch the rest of this tutorial, just to let you know. Except for maybe one part later when I talk about blocks, I might pop back into this outfit and jump back in with you. Alright, you ready? Let's dive in. Okay, part one, let's get started. First things first, in this lesson, we're going to choose a template. We're going to create a Squarespace account. In case you don't have one yet, we're going to start from absolute scratch, create a Squarespace account. Then I'm going to intro you to the back-end Squarespace editor where you can move things around and play around. And then I'm going to show you how right after this, within a couple minutes, you're going to have a live site up and on the internet that you can reach on your mobile, you can send to friends, you can do on your desktop, whatever. It's up and going within just a few minutes. So that's what we're going to be going over in this lesson. So let's get started. So here I am on Squarespace's website. First, I'm going to hit templates. So I'm on squarespace.com, just going to hit templates right up here at the top, and I'm going to peruse their template store, just see what they got. So let's look around. It's just going to load up. Once it loads, so I'll be frank with you, I already know the template that I'm going to choose, but I'll just show you around this template store right now. So they have all these different templates. A good thing about Squarespace 7.1 templates is that they all have the exact same functionality. So you should think these are inspiration websites that you're showing here. These are starter websites that you're seeing here. Any website you can make to look like the other. They have the exact same functionality. You can manipulate and change things in the back end to make any one of these websites look the exact same as any others. So they got a bunch. If you want to preview some, you can hit preview, or you can just hit start if you want to do that template. Today, I'm going to do a template that's in the photography section. So I'm going to hit photography. And I think it's at the bottom here. It's called Gates. So my cousin Jack, he showed me some websites that he really liked, and they had a lot of themes that were in this Gates template. These wall-to-wall, side-to-side images is something he really enjoyed, so I'll hit this preview button, you can see. And so that's what we're going to do. We have a lot of photos of Jack, so this is a very photo-centric starting point for a website. So this is what I like, this is what I want to use, so let's get going with this. I'm just going to hit up here, start with this design. And now, Squarespace is going to initiate. All right, now it's going to ask me to create an account. Right now you can see I have some filler information. I'm just going to delete all this because we are going to start from scratch. I'm going to say Will, put in my first name, last name, Will plus website. You can see I've already created an extra one there. Website 123. This is just a fake email that is going to go to my actual email. And I'll create a super secret password right here, create account. Okay, so now we're into the welcome to your site area. So I'm just going to call this site what my cousin's name is, Jack Underwood. And I'm going to hit continue. I don't really care about learning it because that's what I'm going to teach you, so I'm going to hit skip. Okay, there we go. Now we're in. Okay, first things first, let's look at the editor here. So right now you see here is just sort of a preview of our website, and then here are our main nav options over here. If you start with pages, you'll jump in to see all the pages that are on your website. Design allows you to make global, high-level design changes that will affect everything on your website. You can do more detailed, granular design changes once you're in the page, but we'll get there. If you want to sell stuff, there's a commerce section. We're not going to go into that today. Marketing, here's a marketing section. We're not really going to go into that today. We'll touch on it a little bit later. Scheduling, that's another section we're not going to go into today. Analytics, this is a great little section where you can just tap in and it'll show you a bunch of great data about who's coming to your website, what pages are popular, where are they coming from. This is a great tab, but we won't really go into that today. It's pretty self-explanatory too. And then your settings tab. If you have any questions, there's help. So here is your main nav and here is your website. If you want to edit a page, you just go into the pages section and I'm selected on the work page. I can just hit edit and it will bring me into a full width screen where I can jump in and just edit this page around. Or if I just wanted to look at it, you can also jump into it by hitting this little arrow. And if I wanted to look at it mobile, you hit this little mobile button, desktop view. Now mobile. So, and then if you click on another page, it'll bring you to the other page. So it's pretty self-explanatory there. So let's get this website up and just look at it live on the web, not in this little back-end area, because it is actually live on the web right now. So you see this URL right up here at the top, rxep.squarespace.config. This /config means you are in the back end. If I copy and paste this into just another URL, it'll open up the page and then bring me right back into the back end. So we don't want to do that. If I just copy and paste the text without the config, go open a new incognito window and paste it in, it's going to say private site. But this is the actual site. So let's first make this live. So we go back, go into our settings, site visibility, and then hit password protect. And then type in any password you want. I'm going to use Jack, J-A-C-K, all lowercase, and hit save. Now if I refresh this page, it'll bring me up to a password. I'll hit Jack and go enter. And now I can look at this live on my desktop, on my computer. I can also look at it live on a mobile device. So this is great for just troubleshooting and testing things. There we go. It took a minute to load up, but there it is. Here's the other problem though. This is a very confusing URL to remember. So let's make this a little more understandable. Let's go back here, back to our settings. So I'll go from the top, hit settings, hit advanced. Nope, I'm sorry. We're going to hit domains. And right here is our built-in domain. So I'm going to click on this. And here's something I can change. So I'm going to say the-jack-underwood. And I'm going to hit rename and then confirm. And now you'll see my name, my URL up here is going to change as it updates. I'm going to get rid of this one because I only need one. And there we go. thejackunderwood.squarespace.com/config. Now again, if I just copy and paste this into my URL over here, boom. Now we have a live site that works. Put in my password, and that is much more memorable. I can share that with friends, family. It's up, it's running, clients, whoever. There we go. So that's the end of lesson 1. Lesson 2, we're going to jump in. We're going to build the actual pages that we're going to do and learn a little bit about how these sections work. All right, welcome to part 2. We're going to build all of our pages and get the rough structure of the website in place now. So in this section, we're going to do these things: create our pages, set the home page, add gallery images, understand how sections work in Squarespace, and then add a background image to show you how that's done. So first thing, this website is full of all of this filler content. So I need to get rid of this filler content and make it my own. The structure of this website, I want it to be a home page, and that home page is also going to double as the gallery page for all of his content. I want a contact page, and then I want an about Jack page that explains a little bit about who he is and maybe 1 or 2 more images. So let's create those pages. I'm going to delete this filler content. There's a little trash can button next to a page, the old about page, and I can't If you see this, I'll hit the delete button. It says you can't delete this because it's your home page. So I'll say okay, and I'll delete it later. To create a new page, you hit this plus button. So I'm going to hit the plus button. I can start with a blank page, or I can start with a page layout. I can also create these collections, a store if I want to sell stuff, a blog if I want to create things, but we'll leave that for right now. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll also jump into that later if you want to learn. But we're going to start with a blank page. This is going to be our home page, our new home page. So first thing you'll notice, it pops up here. So anything that is, these two pages are up under the main navigation section. If I don't want them up in the main navigation up top of my website, I click on it and I just pull it down to this not linked section. There we go. Next, let's make this homepage actually our homepage. You'll see the work right now is actually our homepage because it's got the little home icon right there. So I'm going to hit the gear, hover over homepage, hit the gear, scroll down, set as homepage. Click that, confirm, and then close. You see the little house moved from work to home. So now this is our homepage, and I can delete work. Perfect. All right, now let's edit this homepage. To edit it, I've selected the homepage. I'm just going to hit edit here. I'm going to hit add page content using that blue button, and I just want to add a blank section. There's a bunch of sections you can choose from here. If you want to go through them, go for it. All of them are just different starting points of the same blank type section, except gallery. That's its own thing. But we're just going to start with blank here. And I want to have an image and then text. Right now it just dropped in a text block. Actually, I want the text, I have it open right here. I want the text to say this, and I'm just going to paste it in. Jack Underwood is an actor and model based in the LA area. I want this to be really big text though, so I'm going to hover over this paragraph style and hit extra large heading. That is about what I want. But I want this to be half an image on this side and then half the text on this side. So in order to add an image or any other block, it looks like there's an extra space here, so I'm going to backspace and then do that. Well, it looks like there are a bunch of extra spaces. Now I'm going to do that. There we go. To add an image block or any type of block, you want to hover over this little insert point. You see these insert points go in above and below any block right now, the text block that I'm in. They will go above, below, and even to the side sometimes. So I'm going to hit above here, and I'm going to see all the different types of blocks that I can enter. The main ones you use, though, are going to be right up top. That's going to be my image for me right now. I'm going to hit image. I'm going to upload an image. And the image I want to upload is this Jack Underwood image. This one looks super modelly. And I'm just going to hit apply once that's done processing. I've done this before. If you hit it before too early, sometimes it won't allow it. So this is way too big of an image. It looks great, but I want this next to it. So to move blocks, hover over it so you have this bar that pops up at the top. Click down on the bar, and then you can move it where it's going to drop when you let go of your cursor. Ooh, it looks like it jumped too early. When you let go of your cursor, it's going to drop where that black line is. So here it's going to drop at the top. Left, it's going to drop on the left side. If it's just above the image, it's still going to be across the whole thing, but it's connected to this image now. And if I move it to the right, it's going to be on the right side. So this is looking more of like what I want. However, I want this to be centered. So in order to center text with an image, vertically centered, I should say, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to open my image block, hit design, and change the image block into a card. Then I'm going to paste it into the title area. There we go. So hit apply, and then if I delete this text block, it will move out to be full width. There we go. That's sort of what I'm looking to do. I can also change my section settings if I wanted it to be. Right now, since the image is so big, you're not going to see much of a change, but you'll see small section heading, medium, large. You can change the section height. You can change the width. I can make it a small width, a large width. You can move it around within the section, add a section background color. You can change the color of the entire section. We'll get into this a bit later. I can do like an all background blue. I can change this to any color I want, you know, a dark, light, whatever you want. And you'll notice the header up there is changing with it. But I just wanted to stick with the default theme, so I'm just going to toggle that on. Next, I want the gallery block. So I'm going to hit this blue button. And then, like I said, the gallery blocks are different than any of the other ones. So I'm going to hit gallery. And these don't have the same edits. So all of these, again, are just different variations of the same. So I'm just going to click this first because I'm going to tweak it the way I want. Ooh, there's little Vivian barking in the background. I'm going to hit this image button right there, and I'm going to delete all this filler content. Now I want to add my images. So I'm going to hit this plus button, hit upload images, and then highlight all the images that I want. Not the last one because that's this one, and then just hit open and then wait for them to upload. Okay, so that was like about 28 images and they were pretty high resolution, so that took a couple minutes, but we are all set. If I wanted, I could click on these and add a description and link out even if I wanted to, so when they clicked on the image it would link somewhere, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit close. There we go. So what I want these to be is like what I saw in the template. I want these to be full width, full bleed of the width of my page and about 4 across. So I'm going to, again, hit the section editor here and then change our gallery type. So you see this is different. Our section editor here is different than our section editor on just a normal section. So that's what I was saying. This section is, gallery sections are a bit different. So I'm going to hit the section editor. I'm going to change the grid type to masonry. Hit full bleed, and now it's going to go width to width with some spacing, but I'm going to turn that spacing down to 0. And then I want 4 columns. There we go. That's looking really good. I can also change the scroll animation as I scroll down. You notice they faded in. I can do scale in, so you'll see them sort of scale in a little bit as opposed to fading in, which is they sort of slide up from the top. I like the scaling in. So finally, I'm going to hit done here. That's going to save it just in case something happens because that's a lot of images that took a few minutes to load up. I'm going to hit edit again to jump back in. Now let's add our footer section. To add the footer section, just hit the plus icon, and then we want this to be a contact thing. So I'm going to hit contact, and I just want big, bold, easy to see contact info. There we go. I want this to be a bit smaller, so I'm going to highlight it and go to, I still want it to be a heading though, so I'm going to hit small heading. And then all this looks good, so I'm going to hit done. So there we go. That's our home page. Our home page is now set. I'm going to pull this back up to the top here and want to change a couple things around. So if I go here and refresh my thejackunderwood.squarespace.com, you'll notice that we're all set here. If I scroll down, the images slowly come in. Then we got this contact information. Need to change this in the footer. But there we go. We're looking really good. I don't want this to say home page though. I want that just to say home. So I'm going to, in my back end, just hit the gear icon, change this, the navigation just to say home. I actually don't need it to say page anywhere, so I'm going to delete that. Also, this is a new thing in Squarespace, the new Squarespace 7.1. You got to go to SEO. Home pages is you edit the SEO in the main tab. Other pages you can edit it here. But I'm going to hit save. And there we go. So there's our home page. Now let's add our about page. So again, I want this to be in the main nav, so I'm going to hit plus here. I'm going to start with a page layout this time. And let's see, I want about, one of the about layouts. I like this one. This one looks good. So I'm going to click about 3. I just want this to say about. And let's make sure all those settings are right. So I'm going to hit the gear icon, about, SEO. See, this says about 3. I just want this to say about Jack Underwood. And then hit save. There we go. Now let's add, I want this image to be a cool image of Jack doing something cool and full width. I don't like the inset there. So I'm going to hit the gear icon, or that pencil icon, background. You see we have a background image. I'm going to delete that image and then add a new one. So I could just find it in here again. I can also hit search images and see from the imported images I've already brought in. These are all the images I have on my website already. This is the one I like. I think that's really neat. So I'm going to do that one. And then I want to scroll down a little bit further and you'll see full bleed. So I'm going to hit full bleed. There we go. That's pretty neat. I like that. We're going to hit save. Now let's add a contact page. I'm again, hit the plus, page layouts. We'll do contact. This contact one looks simple enough. I like that. Going to change all of our information here again. Change all of this to just say contact. And we'll change all of this. But there we go. So now I'm going to move my home. I just clicked on my home and moved it up. Click on about. I want this to be home about contact. So now we're looking good. We have the general structure of the website. Let's refresh. General structure of the website is in place. We have our images here. They come in. We have, it's filler text, but just text there. About page is coming together with the images we want, and then contact. So we have the general structure of our page. You'll notice the form doesn't appear here because I haven't connected it to anything. And so that's why there's a red box around it over here. And when that's done, nothing will pop up here. So there we go. Next thing I want to do is style it. I don't really like the fonts. Definitely want to change those around. And so that's what we're going to jump into next, styling and coloring. All right, welcome back. In this section, we're going to talk about colors and fonts and how to change those. There's a lot of different options in Squarespace 7.1, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what the different types of fonts are, how do you tweak them in specific aspects and places of your website to get it going. So let's just jump in. To change the fonts globally across everything, you hit this Design tab. Within the design, you have the fonts and colors. So let's start with the fonts. I don't really like these fonts. You'll notice it pulls up. You have a bunch of different preset starting points. You'll notice that's a theme of Squarespace, is just starting points. Starting points you can start with. You got sans serif fonts, serif, and mix. This is going to be a sans serif and a serif. A serif is just it's a little feet that they put. I'll see if I can zoom in here. You see these the little foot at the bottom of a P? That's called a serif. These are little feet they put at the bottom of characters, and back in the olden days when you were doing type press, it was a lot easier to read the characters if they gave them these little accent marks. And so serif fonts today sort of have this authoritative feel to them. You also have sans serif fonts that do not have the little feet down there. So you'll see the header font and the paragraph font, neither of them have the little serifs. And that's much more, you'll see that in much more like modern tech type companies these days. Both are coming back though. I know MailChimp is a company who's brought back a lot of serif fonts. If I pull them up right here, you'll see it. There's a sans serif font, and here is a serif font. So you can really do sort of whatever you want. But for this website, it's a lot more modern and sleek and smooth. So we're going to go with Futura. That's just a really basic, good font. It's sort of all over. So that's the one we're really going to go with. Although it's a bit too thick. I don't like how thick it is. So first I'm going to hit save, just so it saves. And then in order to fine-grain, fine-tune my fonts, I'm going to hit this gear icon. Now I want to change the header. See, these header fonts, they're just too thick. I don't like that. So I'm going to hit headings and do weight. Pull my weight down to about 400. And that's good. C3, no, that's too thin. So I'm going to stick with 400. I like that. Now there we go. Save that. So you can see there's just a bunch of different options. You saw there were the 7 different paragraph styles. Here are the 4 of the heading ones. If I made the heading 1 a lot bigger, it would be super huge. Heading 2, you can change these around however you like. And you got all these other styles up here as well. So a lot of fine-grained detail and tuning that you can do. So I do want to change this into something more fun. This is called your site title. So I'm going to hit advanced. I don't want to change globally all my headings and all my paragraphs. I just want to change my site title. So I'm going to hit advanced. And then right here you see a bunch of different options that you have to change just very specific types of text around your website. So I'm going to hit site title and then drop down my style and change it to custom. Now I'm going to hit font family and we're going to change this. I'm going to browse all fonts. I want a scripty type font. You'll see there are just tons of fonts. You can see how small my scrolling thing is. Just an unbelievable amount of fonts that are loaded into Squarespace. So I'm going to search for one that looks like just a script, like signing something. We'll just scroll down. I won't spend much. Calder script. That looks good. I like that one. That one's nice. But I want to change that, so we'll change that a bit later. So I'll hit save. And there we go. So now I'm going to hit this to jump back to our home page. See what this looks like on the home page. Yeah, this is really coming along. Now, the other thing I can change that I'm not going to do in this website because I like the black and white feel, but is the color. So you notice when I hit edit, there was, and then clicked on my section, I showed you earlier, you can change the colors of your section. If you change from the default theme, you have these 10 different styles that you can choose from. Well, in order to change these styles, if I hit save, get back out, if I'm in the design color section, you see here are my 10 different styles that I can change. You can change all of them at once, sort of high level. If I hit this edit on the palette, you see you have a bunch of designer palettes you can choose from. I can choose just more of a black and white muted one. I really want to do custom colors. You can also import an image, which is cool. It'll pull out the 3 primary colors there. Or from one color, if I just said, I want to give me 3 colors that are blue. And then there we go. Now we got my 3 blue colors. But I really just want to do custom colors. So I'm going to click my accent color. I'm going to do it right in the middle. I'm going to change this. HSL means hue, saturation, and lightness. I'm going to change my lightness to 50. Then I'm going to change my, oh, it looks like that jumped around. I'm going to change my lightness to 50. Then hit enter. I'm going to change my light one to, I'm going to copy this and then change that to maybe 10. Nope, 90, the opposite side. Then my dark one, I'm going to change this one. I'm just going to click and drag this one. That was a little cumbersome to 10% there. So I got medium, super light, super dark. I like that. I'm going to hit save. If I really wanted to go in and fine grain, so you see, and this will say this section is the white minimal color. This section is the white minimal color. So if I wanted to change, say, the big header text on my white minimal theme, I'm going to hit this little pencil icon next to the white minimal, and it'll pull up all the different colors that I can change. Again, like over 100 different ones you can change. But you'll see this is our heading, extra large. I could change this, if I wanted to just change this one to say red, I could click over here and it would change all the H1 text that is in my website, that extra large header text, to red. But I don't want that to be the case. I want it to be black. So I'm just going to leave it there. But there we go. You can change a bunch of your colors there if you want. I'm going to leave it because I like the black and white feel for this website. Except maybe one thing I might change is this header. So I'm going to hit white minimal default. I want to change this header, site title. I'm going to change it to right there, that accent. There we go. And that's annoying that that is blocking it, but I'm going to pop out, hit save. And now let's look at it over here. This is really coming together now. So this site's really coming along. I'm liking it quite a lot. But finally, I would like this to all be lowercase. So how do I do that? I'm going to get into this header section, the footer section, and changing these social links in my next section here. So in this section, we're going to talk about the header, the footer, and adding social links. We're going to jump into editing the header. How do you make that happen? How do you make a fixed header right there at the top? How do you change the social links that are in there? And also, how do you make a 4-column footer, as well as other different types of elements and things you can play around with the footer. So here we go. First thing I want to do, I don't really like that this Jack Underwood has the first letter capitalized. I want that all to be lowercase. So in order to change that up here, I'm going to hit Edit Site Header. Pulls up this little box. I'm going to change the site logo, site title just to say lowercase. Ooh, popped down. Jump back in, site logo. Make that say lowercase Jack. Lowercase j and Jack, lowercase u and Underwood. And again, this is where I can upload a logo image if I wanted to. It would replace my site title, so I don't want to do that, but this is where you can upload a logo to your website. I'm going to hit back. Let's see, I also want to change these social links. So I'm going to go to Elements, and you see the social link that's toggle on. I can turn off those social links if I don't want them. If I am selling stuff, I could turn on my cart. Also, I can add a call to action button that'll pop up over here and make it say, book me if you wanted to book Jack, and then add the website link there, but we're not going to do that right now. So I'm going to remove that and hit the social link. Now I want to edit these. So these three right now go to Squarespace. Don't want that, so I'm going to click on each one of them, delete them, and then Jack has sent me 2 of his social media profiles. So I'm going to scroll over here to my content here. I'm going to do his Instagram here and just paste in the Instagram link, hit enter, and it automatically figures out that it's Instagram and puts the Instagram logo there. Same thing with Facebook. I'm just going to paste it in, hit enter. There we go. So his 2 social links are there. And if I go back, you'll also notice that if I scroll to the bottom, it changed down here as well. So we have just those 2 links. That's exactly what we want. Perfect. It's going to change them globally throughout your entire website, so you don't have to go to every place where you put in social links. Also, social links are another block. If you scroll down to your blocks, you'll see social links down there, so you can add them anywhere on your website. But I will delete that. You can also change the placement of your header. If you get back into header style, you can play around with this, but you can put everything wherever you want. I like it this way. This is what looks best to me, so I'm going to keep it there. And also you can change the coloring, and then style. This is where you can set up a fixed header that stays at the top of your page. So if you go into style, scroll down, fixed position is on. Right now it's on scroll back. So what that means, I'm going to scroll down, it disappears. If I scroll back up, it pops up. That is what scroll back means. So I don't want that on scroll back. I just want basic. So I'm going to hit basic, click out, and then hit save. It looked like it may have toggled off, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to refresh it. Yeah, it must have toggled off. So I'm going to edit one more time, get back into my site title style. Fixed position. I do want a fixed position, and I want it to be basic. Now I'm going to save. Now refresh over here, and now it's constantly at the top no matter what. It's just always up there. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And actually I will jump into the color. I'm not going to change the color, but I just want to let you know. Right now it's transparent. The header is going to use the color theme of the first section. So this first section is white minimal, so it's going to stay with that. But you see if I change it to dark minimal, you'll see the header is going to change to that too. And what that also means is that as I scroll down, that header is going to stay black. Even as the other sections are white, that header is going to stay black because it is mirroring whatever is the first section on my page. But I don't want that, so I'm going to turn that off. Or rather I don't. If you wanted to pick some other color, you can turn off the default theme and make it always gray. If you wanted to do that, it would always be there. So you have some options there, but I just want it to mirror my first header and change my first section, and change my first section to white minimal. And hit save. Now let's go to the bottom and change this footer area stuff. So I'm going to hit edit again, get into my editor. I don't want these links down here, so I'm going to delete. I also don't want this made with Squarespace, so I'm going to highlight all that. I'm even going to hover over this text block and hit delete. Just deleted the entire section actually, so I'm going to hit plus. You'll see you have some footer styles you can choose from, some footer starting points. You can see this one is probably what I want to do. You have a bunch of different styles. These are all 3 columns. You can add another column. See these 3 columns? You can add another column by hitting the insert button, adding a block, clicking on the block, and then pulling it between 2 things. And once it's there, right now it's 4 even ones. Sometimes it might give you uneven blocks. So in order to change the width of a block, hover to the right of it or to the left, hover to the side of it. Click down where you have that little icon and you pull right and left. And that's how you change the width of different blocks. Okay, but I don't want any of this, so I'm just going to delete that whole thing, add the footer, and I just want a very simple, almost nothing type footer. I'm just going to have site title, which I will make this say Jack Underwood, and then social, and then just delete on this side. So there we go. That's looking good. All right, there we go. That's this section. Next section, we're really going to delve into all the different block types and how to create multiple columns and adjust them and play around with them a little bit more. All right, part 5, we're rolling on through. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you edit each section and the blocks and move them around, jump into that a little bit more. We're going to talk about adding links to your website, and links where if someone clicks on it, it'll automatically pull it up in email, or if you're on your mobile device and they tap it, it'll automatically pull up, do you want to call this number? We'll also talk about moving things, making that contact form on the contact page work, and then adding some animations to the image block that we have. So here we go. Let's jump in. First thing first, down at the bottom here, you'll see these email at example and 555. I don't have the actual emails that Jack wants to put in right now, but I know we don't want an address, so I'm going to hit edit. Going to delete this address and this email at example.com. Let's actually just change this real quick to I'm going to do will-myers.com. Now right now this isn't a link. If someone clicks on it, nothing happens. But if I highlight the whole thing, copy it, hit this link button, and then hit the gear icon. I could just paste it in there, but that's not a link, so nothing's gonna happen. So I'm gonna hit the gear icon. Here's your link editor. You have a bunch of different options for adding a link. So I'm gonna hit email, paste it into the to section, and then hit save. You'll see this automatically changes it to mail to : and then the email. This is the URL structure for it. I'm just going to hit apply, and boom, now it is a link. Same thing with the phone number here. So I'm going to copy that, hit the link, hit the gear, and then phone. Paste it in there, hit save, apply, and boom, both of those are links. Now if I save that and go over to my actual website here, refresh that because I changed the color. You'll see if I click on this, it's going to pull up my email. It's kind of obnoxious sometimes, so I don't do it very often. But then we also have the phone number. So if I click on the phone number, again, on desktop, you don't really make calls. It'll say, do you want to open FaceTime and make a call? But if you check it on your phone, if you go to this website on your phone and hit it, it's going to say, do you want to call? And you just hit call, and boom, you will be up and set and ready to go. So let's not save that. So that's how you add links. You'll also notice that, let's move this out of the way. You'll also notice that there were some other options in there. So if I wanted to say maybe download this, hover here, hit that link icon, hit the gear. You can add a file, and if you upload the file, then someone just clicks on it and it can download. So you can download files. Here, page is like different pages on your website. I only have 3, but you can just click on the page. This is a nice little feature. Also, notice this open a new window toggle. And then this is a web address if you want it to go anywhere else outside of your website. So I'm going to hit cancel here. Delete that. And then I want this contact button to go to the contact page. So I'm going to double click on it. And it actually looks like this is a form. So this means nothing, it's not set up. That's why it's not showing there. I want to delete this because I don't want this to be a form. You can set forms to pop up. I don't want that right here. So I'm going to delete it. I'm going to hit edit, jump back in, and just delete that. But I do want a button. So I'm going to hit this insert point right there, hit our button. And you have 3 different button sizes, small, medium, and large. They're just slightly larger, slightly smaller. So I'm just going to leave it on small and say contact. And then same here. I can hit this gear to open up the link editor, but I know where I want to go. I just want to go to /contact. And then I'm going to hit apply. When I hit save, it's going to update on my live site. And now there's my contact button. Now I can hit that. It'll pull me over to the contact page. Fantastic. Now let's go over to the contact page and get that form going. So I'm going to hit contact and then hit edit. So if I double click here on the form, it's going to pull up my form editor. So I want this to say Jack Underwood. This is just for my own use. No one is going to see this outside of me. Underwood contact form. I want the storage. I want it to just go to my email address. So will@willmyers.com. Hit connect. You can also connect it to MailChimp or Zapier or some other things. We're not going to go into that today. But we're going to go back to build. I can add different form fields if I wanted someone to put in their phone number. There, I can hit phone here. It'll pop up but I'm going to delete that because I don't want them to. If I wanted someone to put in their address, there's an address field. There's address field somewhere around here, right there. But really just name, email, and message is good for what this needs to be. So you'll see I'm going to hit apply. Hover over done, hit save. And then if I refresh it over here, you'll see it pops up right there. Perfect. So now I'm going to hit edit. We'll do the same thing to these links over here to make sure everything works. To these emails and phone numbers, make these the same. will@myers.com. Copy, link. I know the structure is mail to, email, and then I'm just going to hit apply, and that happened. Now, telephone is similar, but I'm just going to go into this because I'm not as familiar with it, so I'm just going to hit save and apply. Delete this, don't need any of that. Now this contact page is really looking good. All right, now I want to add some image block animation, so I'm going to go back to my home page, hit edit on the home page, and jump into this image and hit animation. So again, you can click on any block that you add in your website and it'll pull up this editor, and they have different editing choices there. For the image block, you have these design. You can change out these designs. We could do like a collage and overlap thing, which is kind of cool. Stack it over. Here we go. Now it's the entire thing. So it stretched the image, but if I hit apply and save, sometimes these things just happen in the back end, and if you just go through it, it's not going to be a big deal. That actually kind of looks cool too. But I'm going to just stick with what I know, which is this. But I want to add an animation. So I'm going to click the animations tab, drop down. I like the reveal and collide ones, where these two things come in together very, very subtly. I'm going to hit apply and save. And now when I go back to my home page, you'll see they slowly fade into each other. Boom, that's kind of neat. Okay, so that's coming together too. Alright, here I am back in my original clothes. I originally filmed this part of the tutorial talking about blocks. When I rewatched it and was editing it, I didn't really like it. I don't feel like I explained it well, so I've revamped it, and that's what I'm going to do here. So let's jump into the About section and try some things out. I'm going to go to Pages, About, and then I'm going to just add a whole new section that we can play around with. There we go, boom. Okay, we have a new section. So what I want to do and what we'll play around with is adding a text over here, an image here, and then right below it an image here and a text over here. So it's going to rotate a little bit. So in order, any block you see right now, this text block is dropped down. It's denoted with this blue line around it. That's indicating where it is. To add any block, you just hover on the left side of the top or bottom of any block, and then you click down on the insert point. So I want to add in an image. So I'm going to click down, add in an image, and you can drag these around anywhere, so it doesn't matter that it's on top right now. I'm just going to hit apply, and then click down on this image word up here at the top, and when I click down, I can drag it. So I'm going to scroll down, still while clicking down. I'm going to scroll down and hover over next to where my text block is. So my text block is somewhere down here. I'm just going to hover over on the left side, and you see that black line pop up. That's going to show me that if I let go, that is where this image block is going to be. So I'm going to let go there, and there we go. So now we have a column over here for text and an image here. So let's add this. This is my first image. I'm going to make this extra large heading. We're going to add in an image. Actually, we're going to add in, if I hit this gear icon, I can pop up the selections, the customization for this one block, and I can hit search for image. I'm just going to download one from Unsplash, because that's where all these are from. That one looks good. It's going to pop it in. Whew, there we go. That took a minute. Hit apply, and now we got a text here and an image here. So now below, I want to add an image on the left side and a text over here. So I can do this. If I scroll up here, you'll see there's an insert point right below this text. If I add an image there, it's just going to be stuck right below that text. And that's not really what I want. I want this text and this image to be on the same row. So I'm going to cancel. I'm going to delete this block. Going to scroll down, and I'm going to wait till my insert point shows that it's going across the whole span. So I'm going to hit that insert point, and I'm going to hit image. So now we have an image that's across the whole way. I'm just going to hit apply, and we won't add an image right now. And now let's add a text block above it. So again, insert point that spans across the entire image, the entire width of the screen. Hit text and say, this is my second image. Change the text to large, and now let's click and drop this text. Now, as you'll see, as I scroll over here, I have an option here, and you see this black line? This black line starts sort of where my text was, but really it's over where my image is, down to the bottom of the image. So if I let go, it's going to attach to the side of this image. Now, if I pull it up here, you see the black line jumps, and now it would be at the top of, oh, I guess I let go. So let's pop down. So see, I accidentally let go when the black line was against here, and it popped up there. So I'm going to scroll down here and hover down there. Now if I let go there, it's going to split these two. So now I have an image over here, text here, image over here. Now let's add an image here. Nope, I want to pull one from Unsplash again. Search for an image. Let's see, this landscape looks nice. Add to site. There we go. Okay, now that is up. Now, one thing first, these images are a little big, so let's jump into the image editor. If I hit this, again, on the image block, if I hit the little pencil icon and hit image editor, it's going to pull up a way for me to crop and adjust and change the color of this image. So you can change all these settings right here. I don't really want to touch anything because I kind of think it's a pretty picture already, but I just want to crop it. And I want it to be a little more horizontal in nature. So I'm going to do 4:3 as the ratio. Sort of position it with these rocks and the sun coming through right there. You can also add filters over here. That's what all this section is. But it just looks like it's taking a minute to load. So I'm going to keep over here and then hit save when I'm done. Yes, this is permanent. Save. There we go, and then hit apply. And now you see it's not as long, it's not as tall there on my page. And I sort of want to do the same thing over here to keep the aspect ratio the same. All right, now those two images are the same. So a couple things to note. So this looks good. I have text here, image here, and I would like that to be centered, but it's not. Text here, image over there, so that sort of looks good. But now look at this as I check out the mobile view. If I hit preview mobile, you'll see this is my first image, and then it shows the image, and then this is my second image. I would sort of like this text to be under each of the images that it's talking about, because this is a bit confusing on mobile. So you'll notice the way Squarespace works with these blocks on mobile is after a certain point, instead of having columns, it pushes everything into one. So there are no more columns on mobile anymore. So it just is one single column, everything lines up. And again, you need that just to make sure things don't break and you have stuff that's off screen and it just looks bad on a website. That's the type of stuff that's going to ruin some of your credibility if your mobile site doesn't look good. A lot of people look at websites on mobile. So this column thing, it is a good thing, but it can be a little bit annoying when you have a setup with multiple columns on your desktop. So it's something to be aware of. So our way to get around that is just to do exactly what we did on the home page. So I'm going to copy this text. This is my first image. Double click on the image, hit design, and go to this card layout. You can also do collage. And then on the card layout, you'll see it gives me a little block here. I'm going to paste down, this is my first image. And then I can delete this text block. And this will span across the whole way. But I want the image switch. So again, I'm going to hit this little pencil icon, design, scroll down, image position. I want it on the right. And then hit apply. And then I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Copy that text, double click on the image, design, card, keep the position on the left, and then paste in and write a title area here. Paste in that there, and then delete this text here. So there we go. That's how you do sort of this multi-column image back and forth. Again, for the blocks, the big thing to remember is looking at this insert point. Insert point where you want to drop something. Once it's in, keep looking at that gray line as you move it around. If I move it around to the left, you see now this text is spanning the entire right side of this section. So if I drop it, it's going to be its own new column in this section. Everything is going to move to the left. But if I hover over maybe just this picture, it's this lower picture down here. This is my second image. That is going to be full width. And just this top is going to be the left. So remember, keep an eye on this black line. That is your guiding point, depending on, and just sort of move it around. There's no perfect way to understand where the black line pops up and where it doesn't, but just keep moving it around until you see it's spanning the entire area that you want your block to drop. Oh, and I forgot to mention it looks great on mobile too. You see, even though that it is over here, it's left text, right image, right text. When you switch to mobile, Squarespace has fixed it so it just automatically does the right thing with the text under. So that is what you want. So there we go. That's blocks. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any other questions on those, but this is really the core piece, the core building blocks, if you will, for building out your website is adding these blocks in there. So here we go. We are on the final part here. We're going to do the final touches, and then we're going to get ready to launch this bad boy. So here are the things we're going to need to do during this section. We're going to add the Favicon, which is this little image, this little small image right up here at the top. We're going to add that. We're going to add a little SEO blip just so that's set for Google and Bing and whatever search engines, so they're good to go. We're going to pick a domain name, Jack Underwood for Jack, and then we're going to hit launch, and we're going to publish it and get it live. So here we go. I'm going to scroll over. First thing, let's change this little Favicon up here to Jack Underwood. I've created the Favicon, so I'm going to go back out of settings. I'm going to go to design, and you see right here, browser icon. Add Favicon, upload, and then go to my file. It's in Jack Underwood, Favicon, just JU. It's going to upload. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to upload. A lot of times in the back end, it will be maybe, honestly, I've seen it be up to a couple weeks before it changes back there. But hopefully this will load up here, right there. Perfect. So now we got a nice little JU up there. Okay, next thing we want to do is add the SEO blip. So this Jack Underwood is an actor and model based in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area. So I'm going to go back to design, and I'm going to go to marketing. So remember earlier in the video I hit edit up here, and I went to the settings, and I wanted to change the settings up here. I hit SEO, and it said, oh, edit the SEO. So only on the home page, if you want to edit the SEO description of the home page, this will show up. Everywhere else you can edit per page the SEO descriptions in the settings of each page. But if I click this, it'll bring me back to the area I was just in, which is the marketing SEO part. And I'm just going to drop this description right down here. So I want that to pop up. This is the site title. It's lowercase Jack Underwood because it's copying from the site title up there. I want it to be uppercase Jack Underwood, so I'm just going to change that. You'll see it update right there. You'll also see this is just the format. If you want to change like the delineation between a page and the site title, and I actually do want these all to say Jack Underwood uppercase instead of all lowercase. So I'm going to do that, and I'd like the delineation to be this right above the enter button, just the vertical line. I'll do that, and any items I'll just make that change as well. Jack Underwood. There we go. I'll hit save. Squarespace also has these good links if you want to look at the SEO checklist that Squarespace has created. They've got a bunch of good resources there. Let's see if it loads up here. There we go. Just a bunch of good things you should be able to do. Make sure your SSL is good. Blah 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 blah. Connect to social media. Okay, so we are all set there. Now let's pick a domain. Squarespace has a great Squarespace domains. If you just want to search domains, just type in Squarespace domains, click this first non-ad one that pops up, and it brings you to a nice page where you can just search domains. It gives you a big search bar, and you can just pick in whatever you want. Jack has told me what he wants. We typed in Jack Underwood, and of course the .com is taken, but what is not taken is the .me. So this is going to be the one that we're going to get. And luckily it comes free with the purchase of a new website. So we are going to do that. So I'm going to go in here to settings. I'm going to hit domain. I'm going to say get a domain. You know what? We get a free domain, I think, if we purchase the hosting. So I'm going to go back out, and I am going to upgrade. So down here, your trial ends in 14 days. Upgrade now to get the most out of your site. I can hit upgrade here, or I can go to billing and account and billing and just get going there, hit upgrade. So there's a couple different ways. Right now, I can do, here are our prices. I can do this personal plan, save 25% annually, or I can pay monthly, which is a lot more per month, but the pay annually, this personal plan is the way to go. So I'm going to do that one, hit select. And now I'm going to put my credit card information in, but I'm going to hide this from you because you do not need to see this. I'm going to hit save and continue. It's going to bring me to this page. I'm going to put in my promo code here, confirm and purchase, and now we wait. And boom, so you get a free domain for an entire year. So I'm going to hit this because that's definitely what I want. I've just purchased this website, and the domain that I want, get domain, it's going to automatically show that some of the domains are free. So you see all these are free. So I'm going to do jackunderwood.me. That just popped up right there. Some are more expensive, so I think they just give you the $20 domains for free. But some of these more expensive ones, you don't get them for free, so that's why it's there. So this jackunderwood.me, I'm going to hit add, proceed to checkout. Going to ask me to put in all this information. I'm going to give my real web address there. You have to put in this information. This is just information, stuff they make you do, so I'm just going to quickly run through this and do this. hit continue, and then ensure, and boom. It could take 10 minutes to process. Select the source, do this, hit live TV or streaming or YouTube, and say Will Myers, which show? I don't have a show, but hit submit. And now we are set. So now let's go over here. This subdomain just works now. But now let's go jackunderwood.me. Now it's probably going to say the site isn't ready. So it's not ready yet, but one thing we can do while we wait, go back to settings, go to site visibility, and change it to public. Now no one has to put in that password Jack anymore, and just hit save. So once we've done that, we're going to go back. Let's just refresh this until something pops up. Well, it's not working on Chrome here, but I was able to get it working on Safari, and me saying I got it working, I did absolutely nothing. I'm just sitting here waiting for it. It does just take a few minutes. It's been about 5-6 minutes now. It hasn't been very long, but now it's working on Safari. It should be working on Chrome within the next few minutes, but there we go. Now the website is live, we have launched it, and we are good. It is that easy to build a website. It's really not that difficult, especially Squarespace makes it super, super simple to get these up and going. So sign up for my newsletter, a lot more information in the description. If you want to view these on my website and go more, go to willmyers.com, will-myers.com, a lot more information there. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. Adios.